My name's Julia. I'm an artist based in London. I specialise in mainly surrealism using oil, acrylic and gouache paint. I'm inspired by lots of different artists. When I was a teenager, I was really inspired by the art of Natalie Shaw or Margaret Keane and a lot of the other artists that were inspired by the big eyes and really exaggerated features of Margaret Keane's work. But I remember when I was really young, I was really inspired by a lot of the art of Alice in Wonderland and also the game Alice Madness Returns. I really was drawn to the really beautiful, vibrant imagery that seemed really beautiful on the surface but was kind of depicting something much darker, and that's a theme that I've really carried with me into my own work as I've grown as an artist. Other artists that have inspired me are the work of Stuart Lippincott, who's a digital artist, the photographer He Kong as well, particularly the work he does where his subjects are hidden amongst water lilies and lotus leaves. I think it's so beautiful, and that's really inspired a lot of my work of people emerging from the water or hidden in the water. I'm also really inspired by the work of more traditional artists like John Singer Sargent, some of the other impressionists like Degas, and also more contemporary oil painters like Jimena Reno. She really inspired me to start learning how to oil paint, and I've learned a huge amount from her, and she's one of my favourite artists. I mainly specialise in surrealism, but I do also enjoy other forms of painting as well. If I want to paint just purely to relax, then I will paint landscape, or I really enjoy actually just painting some flowers sometimes. They're the paintings that I think my parents enjoy the most from what I do. But I go through phases where I get quite fixated on a certain theme or topic. So last year I was really interested in the exploration of femininity and queer joy in nude portraits, but kind of incorporating fruit to be a metaphor for something maybe more explicit, or a metaphor for sex or body positivity, and that seemed to really resonate with a lot of people, which was really lovely to see. Advice I would give to my younger self, so I studied art at school. I did it all the way to A-level. And really just didn't enjoy the experience at all. I didn't enjoy being made to fit into a certain mould or having to follow criteria to get marks. I found it quite boring and quite soulless at times, and I didn't really gel that well with my teachers. And as a result, I stepped away from art for a few years and eventually came back to it during COVID and learnt to use other mediums like oil paint and gouache, but also learnt skills from still life or connecting with other artists who were interested in the same medium as me or the same kind of inspiration as me, and that made my painting advance way more than it ever did studying it. So what I would say is it's totally fine to step away if you're in a dry spell or you just need a break, but I would say don't let that put you off pursuing it further. Just because maybe you don't get great feedback or great marks, that doesn't mean that you're not a good artist. Maybe you just aren't in the right environment, and go out and find a different community or go and do different classes somewhere else, classes for fun. Try and put the fun back into it and do it for you and do it because you enjoy it, and then you will, the joy of painting will come back. Right now what I am focusing on is trying to incorporate some social justice messaging into some of my work. So I'm doing or I did a piece recently to raise money for a trans charity, Mermaids, that support trans kids. But also there's a few of us in a collective that are trying to raise awareness around what's happening in Palestine, but also Congo and Sudan. Alongside that, I'm still doing portraiture, and I'm still doing commissions for friends and so on, but I'm trying to explore some of that, I guess, political education as well, and that's had some really great reactions. I've not been doing it long, but it's been lovely as well to connect with more people that are doing the same. I think some of the best reactions I've had to art that I've done, I think one of the best things in terms of reactions that I've had to my paintings are paintings where maybe there have been some of the best reactions that I've had to paintings that I've done are the ones where there have been underlying messages, or certain things that I've incorporated just for me around mental health, or coming to terms with certain aspects of your identity that I've woven into some of those paintings, and seeing some of the reactions from people at markets or galleries, where they have clearly picked up on that element and something about it has resonated, whether that's metaphor or the expression on one of my subjects' faces, something in there has clicked with them. That has been, I think, the most lovely part of sharing my art.